Alright, so we got a whole lot of good news followed by the phrase, I don't know. You might be thinking, well, Cynic, why don't you know? Everything. Release dates, exact pinpoint information, what I'm doing with my life for this channel, I just don't know. But I still felt like doing this video was worth it because, well, I mean, who doesn't want to talk about DLC2? I feel like Doom Eternal's kind of staling for most people. I mean, the majority of us have been playing this game for a year non-stop, and if you're on console, you don't really have the luxury of playing mods, so things are bound to get staler a little quicker. Now, if you guys aren't into live streams or don't follow the Bethesda YouTube channel, I don't blame you. Yesterday, Hugo Martin did a live stream where he played through Cultist Base and gave a little bit of insight knowledge to things that we can be expecting in the nearby future. Now, unfortunately, because I have my priorities in order, I couldn't watch this whole thing because I was working, but the most important things, the things that I was able to scrape together, we're going to talk about here today. Things like, well, what we already knew was incoming, like a fix for the chainsaw no target bug and blood punch reading incorrectly, which Hugo explained a little bit behind that, and I think with the blood punch not working right, I think that's a case of your system working so well that it's not working right at all. Hugo also mentioned that in DLC 2, we're going to have a brand new weapon, and that DLC 2 is currently being play tested, which a lot of people hearing that are getting excited that we could be seeing a trailer as soon as this month, and even the DLC as early as next month. I'm sorry, I gotta play devil's advocate here, but looking back at Super Gore Nest Master Level, that was announced in August, September. We expected it to drop with the Ancient Gods Part 1, which came out in October, and we didn't get that until December. So if that's a track record, and assuming id Software has other plans in mind for other stuff they want to release, like extra master levels, we've known about the Exultia master level since practically release at this point, and we still have yet to see that. The Hell on Earth mod is allegedly a real master level as well, so who knows. And if they really want to continue with this classic mode that I'm a little disappointed is just stuck to the Super Gore Nest master level, then I'd expect the way they're trickling out extra content for us not to see DLC 2 for quite some time. Or you could go the extra way and say, well, by March 20th, that is the 1 year release of Doom Eternal, and the season pass does guarantee 2 campaign add-ons within the first year. That is true, but who knows, they might have to make exceptions in light of the pandemic. I'm curious, what do you guys think? What do you think is a good date for this DLC to drop? I'm saying within the first half of March. If I had to guess entirely, I'd say March 12th. That's the Friday before Doom Eternal's 1 year anniversary, which this year would actually be on a Saturday. So I think that would be some good time for them to release it, and then over the course of the next week before them hitting that 1 year mark, they can iron out some bugs, and then by the following weekend when that 1 year anniversary hits, they can drop some double XP for, oh shit, a mini-series event. I know some people weren't really fans of the mini-series, kind of extra filler content, but I think a nice little 1 year anniversary mini-series would be neat. But moving on to why your blood punch doesn't exactly work right. I don't want to beat this to death because so many people have already said that id Software is currently pinpointing the no target bug and the blood punch issues and trying to get them both fixed ASAP. Probably gonna see a fix by the end of the month, but in short, Hugo Martin said it's still kind of hard to identify the problem, but in some cases, the reason why your blood punch isn't triggering or triggering incorrectly is because when you're chipping off flesh off demons and you go in for that blood punch, your punch is inadvertently colliding with the chunks of flesh that you're knocking off the demon. So in other words, you're not hitting the demon anymore, you're actually hitting the flesh that you're knocking off of the demon, which is obviously a negative result that can get you killed. And I've seen this brought up a handful of times and I completely agree, and that is, why does flesh knocked off demons even have collision? Well, to be fair, I don't remember blood punch having its issues all the time. It's gotten progressively worse, yes, but I don't think this was something that was added at launch, but I could be entirely incorrect. Remember, we are constantly changing the way that people play the game as time goes on. People like Under the Mail are constantly innovating, trying to move faster and get more flashy kills done and innovate and create all these crazy ass weapon combos that no one ever really thought of before. And by pushing the game to its limits in this way and multitasking, moving faster and activating all these glory kills, bloody punches, and crazy combos, that could be in turn showing the game's flaws. And with id Software working from home, it's been something that they've never really been able to fix. Or it could just be something that was introduced through an update and just has progressively gotten worse. Like I said earlier, I don't know. Gotta love YouTubers. Moving on to DLC information. Yes, it's confirmed. There is going to be a brand new weapon. How we get it, I don't know. What it is, I don't know. And whether if it's a super weapon or not is yet to be seen. Although let's be honest with ourselves, we're probably not going to be able to take it into the base game or even the master levels, but I digress. We have a new weapon coming, and personally speaking, I think this is going to be another super weapon. Simply because if they were to continue to go the route of where the Ancient Gods Part 1 ended, which it obviously is, the crucible is already taken from us, so we do have a spot open for another super weapon. On the other hand, as far as our arsenal that we already have to deal with in our normal weapon rotation is kind of already pushed to its limits. I mean, we have a total of 10 weapons right now. I mean, yeah, that's counting the BFG, the crucible, and the unmaker, which obviously removing the crucible leaves us with 9 weapons, but still the majority of the PC player base have all those weapons tied to a specific key. Meanwhile, on console, obviously we're restricted to just the weapon wheel, and we do have the ability to make the weapon wheel a little bit more compact and pick and choose what weapons are in that weapon wheel. But the amount of things we already got to juggle, I just don't see them adding it into your normal weapon rotation. Don't get me wrong, I would love it to be something that you can just use in normal encounters, but I don't see that being a thing unless they want to go forward with mouse and keyboard support on console, and then on PC what they allow us to do is a little bit more customization. Like, I don't know, I don't want to say loadouts because that sounds too multiplayer-esque and it just doesn't feel like it would fit right, but who knows, maybe that's the balancing act that they're doing currently with DLC2, trying to figure out the best way to tie this new weapon into this DLC and Doom Eternal's current combat loop, and how that could affect new demons that they're going to be introducing with the next DLC. Lastly, I just want to touch on this very briefly. There was some quick mention of a quote-unquote new ability. A long time ago I mentioned that I feel like a ground slam would be awesome in this game. I still stand by that horrible decision, but I think in terms of what they mean by new abilities, I'm honestly thinking they're referring to runes here. And the reason being, because with the Ancient Gods Part 1, there was rumors that, well, there wasn't even rumors, we were supposed to get a new ability. And the newest ability we got was either going underwater via a submarine or the support runes, which I completely think that the support runes is what they were referring to as the new abilities. Either that, or as was mentioned in my Discord, it could potentially be them referring to power-ups, considering that in the Super Gore Nest Master level they did bring power-ups into the equation, which could be a sign that moving forward they could be re-embracing power-ups and implementing them into levels and even master levels. It's kind of sad too. In this master level, this is the second time in the entire game that you see a berserk power-up, the other one being in the Arc complex. But as far as a new weapon in your regular weapon rotation on every encounter, along with a brand new ability, I mean, those two things are going to add in so many different button prompts that you're now going to have to learn on the fly in this next DLC that's probably going to be intense already. And don't get me wrong, again, I would love that. In the off chance they do end up doing that, I really hope it's not tied just to the DLC. I think that's disappointing. The fact that you can't bring the support runes from DLC 1 into the base game kind of irritates me a little bit, but we're obviously just gonna have to wait and see, aren't we? But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you guys have any other information you want to throw out there, if there's anything I got wrong, feel free to correct me down in the comments section below. You know, let's talk. What do you think this new weapon is? Do you really think it's gonna be a normal weapon? Do you think it's gonna replace any of the weapons that we currently have, or do you think it's just gonna be a brand new super weapon just to replace the crucible in the DLC? What else do you think this DLC is gonna have in store? Hugo Martin did drop Under the Mayo by name in stream, and naturally that got a lot of people hyped that we could be seeing the chain gunner return in DLC 2, all thanks to Mayo. So that's cool. Hugo, meanwhile, ignored my request to play Brawler Mode Plus. I even said I'd donate. Come on. But like always, my name is Cynic. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, link to that is down in the pinned comment. Apparently, every server member now has lore attached to them, and some of them are interesting reads. But until next time, I'll see y'all later.